But that
Yeah, we
doesn't
can
start
talk about immigration. Yeah, that's what we talked about yesterday. And go ahead, I'll let you speak.
Well, I don't like all these illegals coming into the country. They're just taking over our welfare system.
Do you have any first-hand experience with this?
Yeah, all these illegals that come across, they're not here for freedom or even a job, half of them. They just want to come over here and, get what they can from the gringo.
Ooh.
They actually have, all these illegals that cross the border, they actually have pieces of paper on them with the names and addresses of the welfare services that they should get the minute they cross the border. Now, is that right?
Are these welfare systems run by the government or private?
It's government run. These people are down there at the welfare office. They even know who to speak with, the exact person. I've seen the papers.
You've seen the papers?
Yeah, I was standing on waiting for this store to open one day, and this woman approached me, speaking Spanish or whatever. These people aren't going to speak English. I'm not talking to them. So anyway, she shows me this piece of paper, and on it was the welfare office, places where you could rent for nothing, where you could go get food, where you could go get transportation, the churches in town that love immigrants, especially if they're illegal, because the little do-gooders who live behind the gated fences and never get around the brown people. They don't know what it's really like dealing with these illegals. And they're not even immigrants. They're just aliens. They're bloodsuckers.
Where did you observe this? What state?
In California, San Joaquin Valley, where they love the little coming across the border. They bring them over by the busload while the little Border Patrol people turn their eyes the other way.
So you observed this and you know about this firsthand?
Well, yeah, I'm not making this stuff up. Yes, I observed it firsthand. And, East L.A. in Los Angeles, let me tell you, Tijuana is better than East L.A.
Ay, ay, ay. Well, what is the reason for all of this illegal labor pouring in?
So the farmers can get their crops picked for nothing. They pay these Mexican workers and all these Latinos, the illegals. They don't hire legal people, If you're illegal, you're not going to get a job.
Aren't those jobs only for a few months during the summer?
Oh, it's California. There's crops to pick, 24/7.
Oh.
There's things to do. But anyway, let me tell you how this thing works. These little Mexicans, Latinos, they're told where to go and stand on a corner or in the middle of a block. And a white van comes by and picks them up and takes them to the fields to work. Now, at the end of the week, by the time the boss man is finished, they don't get a check. Don't believe these people who tell you illegals pay Social Security. Hello? If you're illegal, you don't have a Social Security number. And if you do, you stole it from someone else. So these little slaves that are busy ruining our school systems and everything else are paid in cash at the end of the week. Now, Mr. Farmer Man isn't stupid. He's not going to pay these illegals in a check. I mean, we can trace everywhere that, what he does. No, Mr. Rich Poor Man, he's busy giving cash, but he takes out $500 for the little cardboard shack that he has the slaves living in. Then he deducts for the non-existent utilities. Then he deducts for all the food you buy in the company store. And by the time you're finished, these slave laborers only end up with $50. Now, the reason why they came up with the 50 is to keep the Latinos happy for Friday night and Saturday night at El Campesina. That's the stinking little bar that they all go to and spend their money drinking. Of course, Sunday, then they go to the Catholic Church and moan and groan and confess and start it all over again on Monday morning.
Well, Helga, it doesn't sound like these people make enough money to survive. Where are they getting their money? Don't they have to pay rent and stuff like that?
That's just what I said. The boss man, Mr. Poor Farmer, who lives in a big giant mansion, says, yeah, you'll make $1,000 a week or whatever sum of money he claims. But he deducts it from their wages. So by the time the end of the week comes around, they only have $50. And $50 is just enough to keep these little people happy.
That sounds like slave labor. It almost reminds me of...
It's slave labor. They're slaves. And they, and then they have to go, all of the little kids that they have, and believe you me, these people don't know birth control. The more children they have, which then are U.S. citizens, they're there in our hospitals clogging it up. Down at the schools, we have to create Spanish-only classes for these idiots. They don't care. They don't learn anything.
Well, did you have a child in California school?
Yeah. Sorry to say, yeah. And all those illegal immigrants, that's what I know about these Spanish-only classes. Spanish as a first language. They took over the school system. So actually, Whitey could hardly go to school. He might as well have just dropped out. All the illegals took it over.
Are you saying that the schools don't teach English?
No, it's Spanish as a first language. They only speak Spanish in the class. If that's what you come in talking, Spanish. And really, I shouldn't even call it Spanish, because those Mexicans, I don't know what they're talking. Really, I don't. But we'll call it Spanish for the sake of this conversation. Yes, they speak only Spanish. The teacher is fluent in Spanish, and all their books are in Spanish.
Helga, I hate to interrupt you. Do you think you could come back next week and continue this? Because you have a first-hand account, and I don't think Americans really know or have a first-hand account because they only know what they're reading in newspapers. And it sounds like you're contradicting everything we've been reading in the newspapers about illegals and government money. So do you think you could make it next week?
Yeah, I'll try to make it next week, yeah.
Okay, Helga. Let's see what people think about what you just said, what the reaction is. Well, it sounds like you hit a home run.
Good.
So we're hoping that you'll come back next week and carry this on and maybe have some more information, because you're really outside of what we have all heard and read about in the news. But you have a first-hand account, it sounds like. Helga, we'll see you next time, okay?
All right.
Bye-bye.